Have you ever pondered the astonishing speed of your internet connection, as an email zips from New York to Sydney in a heartbeat, or as your video call connects you seamlessly with someone thousands of miles away? It's easy to take these everyday miracles for granted. But behind the scenes, a complex and invisible network is quietly at work: the undersea cables. These undersea cables, also known as submarine communications cables, are essentially the world's underwater highways for data. They are laid out on the ocean floor, stretching across continents, connecting us all in a web of communication. Imagine, over 95% of all international communications travel through these undersea cables. That's every email, every web page, every video call, all zipping through these unseen pathways beneath the waves. But how do they achieve this feat? These cables are made of fiber optics, transmitting multiple terabits of data per second. To put it in perspective, 1 terabit per second is fast enough to transmit about a dozen 2-hour 4K HD movies in the blink of an eye. Imagine millions of people watching videos, sending messages, and browsing the web, all at the same time, all without a hint of slowdown. That's the power of these undersea cables. An astounding 485 of these cables, totaling over 900,000 miles, sit on the ocean floor. They span the vast expanses of the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, traverse strategic passages such as the Suez Canal, and even reach isolated areas within the oceans. From the depths of the Mariana Trench to the icy waters of the Arctic, these cables are the unseen lifelines of our interconnected world. So these undersea cables, often unnoticed, are indeed the silent workhorses of the global internet. They are the invisible backbone that keeps us all connected, enabling the instant global communications that we have come to rely on. As you send your next email or make your next video call, spare a thought for the remarkable undersea network that makes it all possible. Beneath the surface of our vast oceans, an extraordinary network of cables spans across continents. These undersea cables, totaling about 485 in number, stretch to over 900,000 miles, making their way through both the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, strategic passages like the Suez Canal, and even isolated areas within oceans. This immense network of cables is not just vast, but also incredibly powerful. Each cable can handle data transmission at a speed of multiple terabits per second. To put this into perspective, a single terabit per second is so fast that it could transmit about 12 2-hour-long 4K HD movies in the blink of an eye. This means that one of these cables can effortlessly manage millions of people watching videos, sending messages, or scrolling through web pages simultaneously without missing a beat. These cables are not just responsible for our everyday internet activities, but they are the lifeline of our global communications, carrying over 95% of the data that moves around the world. Whether it's an email sent from New York to Sydney, a video call between London and Tokyo, or a web page loaded in Buenos Aires from a server in Mumbai, it's these undersea cables that make it all possible, and all in a matter of seconds. But it's not just about the sheer number or the extent of these cables. It's also about their strategic placement across the globe. They span across major oceans, passing through strategic passages and reaching isolated regions within oceans. This strategic positioning of the cables ensures not just wide coverage, but also redundancy, so that if one cable fails, others can pick up the slack, ensuring continuous and uninterrupted global communication. Thus, under the shimmering surface of our oceans lies a complex and critical network, facilitating our digital communications. This network, hidden beneath the waves, is the unseen backbone of the global internet, silently and efficiently connecting us all, every second of every day. Laying these undersea cables is no small feat, involving precise planning, sophisticated technology, and meticulous execution. It starts with the careful surveying of the seabed. This step is crucial to avoid any natural hazards like underwater mountains and trenches, and to minimize impact on marine life and ecosystems. Detailed maps are charted out, marking the safest and most efficient routes for the cables to follow. Then comes the actual laying of the cables, a task performed by specially equipped ships. These vessels carry gigantic spools of fiber optic cables, ready to be deployed onto the ocean floor. As the ship navigates the predetermined route, the cable is progressively unspooled and gently placed on the seabed. It's a delicate operation that requires precision and constant monitoring. Now you may wonder, how does data travel such long distances under the ocean without losing quality? That's where repeaters come into play. These devices, installed at intervals along the cable, amplify the optical signal, ensuring that data can travel thousands of miles without degradation. Imagine them as a chain of relay runners passing the baton of data along the route. In shallow waters, the cables are sometimes buried in seabed sediments for added protection against potential threats, such as fishing nets, ship anchors, and even curious sea creatures. However, in the deeper parts of the ocean, the cables simply rest on the seabed, with the vast pressure of the water above providing a natural defense against damage. This whole process, from surveying to laying the cable, can take months or even years to complete, depending on the length and complexity of the route. It's a monumental task that demands a high level of expertise, patience, and resilience. The process of laying these cables is a testament to human ingenuity, overcoming numerous challenges to connect the world. It's a fascinating blend of technology and determination that quite literally brings the world closer together, one cable at a time. Despite their critical role, undersea cables face several threats, from accidental cuts to potential sabotage. Every year, an estimated 100 to 150 of these vital conduits are severed, most commonly by the unintentional interference of fishing equipment or ship anchors. But the accidents are just one part of the story. The growing concern for these unseen internet highways is the potential for deliberate sabotage. Their critical importance to global connectivity, combined with their ownership by consortia of internet and telecom companies, makes them attractive targets for disruptive actions. The cables often lie in isolated but publicly known locations, a fact that doesn't help their cause. The vulnerability of these undersea cables was brought into sharp focus by a series of unexplained failures. On March 14, 2024, multiple cables off the coast of West Africa failed, leading to significant internet disruptions affecting no fewer than 10 nations. The incident raised many eyebrows and questions about the security of these undersea links. The previous year, in 2023, several cable failures in the Baltic Sea further stoked suspicions of sabotage. The incidents, while isolated, highlighted the potential for catastrophic disruption to our interconnected world. The strategic Red Sea corridor has also emerged as a hotspot for undersea cable threats. A notable incident involved an attack on a cargo ship that was laying cables, underscoring the physical and tangible risks that these vital connections face. These incidents serve as stark reminders that our undersea cables are not just lines of communication, but lifelines of our digital world. Their protection and maintenance are of paramount importance. We rely on them for everything from sending an email to streaming our favorite shows, and any disruption could have far-reaching implications. So next time you send an email or make a video call, spare a thought for the unseen network beneath the waves that makes it all possible. These incidents underscore the importance of protecting these cables, as they are not just lines of communication, but lifelines of our digital world. Undersea cables, the unseen backbone of the global internet, play a pivotal role in our connected world. These submarine communication cables, over 485 in total, spanning over 900,000 miles, are the silent enablers of our instant global communications. They carry more than 95% of all data around the world, enabling everything from emails to video calls, and from web browsing to streaming services. These cables, often no thicker than a garden hose, are marvels of modern engineering. Each one houses multiple optical fibers, capable of transmitting multiple terabits of data per second. That's fast enough to transmit about a dozen 2-hour 4K HD movies in the blink of an eye. These fibers are bundled together and encased in protective layers, designed to withstand the harsh undersea environment, from extreme pressure to potential damage from fishing activities or ship anchors. The process of laying these cables is no small feat. It involves rigorous seabed surveys, careful navigation of cable-laying ships, and meticulous placement of the cables on the ocean floor. Along the route, repeaters are installed at intervals to amplify the optical signals and ensure data can travel long distances without degradation. But these vital arteries of the internet are not without their vulnerabilities. Every year, an estimated 100 to 150 undersea cables are cut, primarily by accident. The potential for sabotage, particularly by nation-states, is a growing concern. These cables, crucial for global connectivity, lie in isolated but publicly known locations, making them easy targets for hostile actions. Recent unexplained failures off the coast of West Africa in March 2024 and in the Baltic Sea in 2023 have raised suspicions of sabotage, underscoring the strategic importance and vulnerability of these undersea cables. Next time you send an email or make a video call, remember the vast network of undersea cables that makes it all possible. They are indeed the unsung heroes of our digital age.